Hello there. Hi. Before we actually begin, does it sound okay? Does it look okay? I've never done this before. I don't know what's happening. I'm lost. This is Eric Langley, by the way. Hi,
Hello.
Eric.
Hi.
Eric is the cinematographer and VFX supervisor, but he did all the VFX for Could You Survive the Movies. And he also does all the VFX photography for Vsauce 1 and Vsauce 3, and then the visual effects for Vsauce 2 and the color correction for Vsauce 2. He's a very talented man. I've known Eric for how long now? 13 years?
13, yeah.
We went to college together, and we've been friends ever since. Thank you for liking my shirt. So what I want to do today, and not all day, it'll probably be 30 or 40 minutes, is kind of go through with Eric how we filmed certain things, why we filmed certain things, and the fun stuff behind it. Because there's a lot of things that you see on camera that are kind of lies, where Eric has either manipulated it or it's just different than how we filmed it. And I kind of want to go into that because to me it's very exciting. So that's the plan. If you haven't watched Could You Survive the Movies yet, and I know that I got a lot of messages from people that it didn't show up on their feeds. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can watch it with us now. We're not going to watch the full thing. We're going to kind of go from watching the videos that we make. I've always loved making cinematic science films. It's, to me, what I really want to do. I don't like just talking to camera, similar to what I'm doing right now. I like it to be an experience. It's a journey that we're going on together is what I enjoy, and I love making films. So this was an idea that I had maybe 2 years ago, and I pitched it around to different production companies, and no one really understood it. They were like, oh, so it's just Mythbusters. Like, yeah, we do like experiments, but it's a narrative film. It's this mixture. It's a hybrid kind of. And I found this one production company that got it, and we took it to YouTube, and we were like, hey, we really want to make this. And they were totally on board. They're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it a special. And if it does well, we can make more. If it doesn't, at least you got one cool episode. So I really hope it does well. So this is me begging for a second, because I really want to make more of these. And if it does well, I can make more. And more importantly, they'll be free to watch, which is so important to me. It's something that I fought really hard for this, is that I want everyone to be able to watch it. It doesn't matter how much money you have or what location you're in. You should always be able to enjoy educational content, and you should always be able to enjoy cinema. And those are two tenets that I really abide by. So I'm really happy that it's free. So please share it with everyone that you know if you liked it. If you hated it, don't share it. But if you liked it, please share it. We spent 5 months nonstop. Eric would like sleep at the production office trying to get it done because he was the entire graphics department.
Yes.
All right. So with that said, Apocalypse said you did a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks, Apocalypse.
Okay. So let's dive into this. We're gonna go to just some scenes and kind of talk about how we made them and some fun stuff that you might know. So let's go into this mode, and we're going to scrub through real quick. So actually, one thing I want to talk about is the drawing on camera wasn't initially part of it. I decided to draw because we got a lot of notes that like some things were confusing or who were these characters, and I didn't want me to have to verbally say it. I feel like that was pedantic, so instead I decided to write on screen because I thought it would be a little bit more fun and kind of fit the vibe better. So that's where we did that.
This is the best handwriting you'll ever see Jake do.
Yeah, I did this numerous times to try and get this through. But let's kind of go through it a little bit.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay, so we have this shot. This is with actually this really cool camera that's mounted onto a buggy. And that was awesome. So that's how we got a lot of these driving shots.
Ultimate arm.
The ultimate, no. Yeah, the ultimate arm. That's what it's called. Not the other one.
No.
Whew. The ultimate arm is really cool. And I got to be in the car while they were doing it, like directing from a screen in the back. And that was awesome. So a fun thing about most of these shots, most of the shots that are done in the car's not moving at all.
Right.
So this shot, it looks like she's driving, but she's not. It's stationary.
It's process trailer.
Yes, a post-process trailer. Mm-hmm. But we did a poor man's version where it was just people literally shaking the car.
Yeah.
And we had a fan and people were throwing dirt into the fan and like
Yeah.
a smoke machine. And that was basically it.
Which is actually how they film most of the scenes for Mad Max. Like 90% of the film is done that way.
So this stuff was actually filmed real. This is me actually driving the car. Then we have a drone shot. Go to another drone shot. This is really cool.
And you see the long trail of dust there? That was about 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, it made audio recording and everything really difficult because even though we're in the desert and it was like 104 degrees Fahrenheit every day, and we filmed it across 3.5 days. And yeah, it was windy as all heck, and it was super hot, but it was really fun. Most of the dirt on me is actual just dirt from the location.
Everyone looked like Jake and the crew, too. It was like very similar.
And actually these guys, so the people that we used for the War Boys and these vehicles is this great troupe called Wasteland Weekend. and they just cosplay and role play Mad Max, and this is their property. They own like 300 acres in the Mojave. And so they were nice enough to be in the video, lend their amazing cars and their amazing costumes. Like my costume was made up from their stuff. So that was super cool. So let's keep going.
There's a lot of comments about this match cut. Oh, no, that's later. My bad.
Which match cut?
It's later.
Oh, okay. So here we go. This is me not driving at all. I'm just shaking the wheel back and forth with smoke going across the camera. Also not driving, cars being shaken. So this stuff, all of these flashbacks that we filmed with Ro were actually filmed about 3 weeks after we filmed the video. Yeah. This was done in a garage in Los Angeles. Yeah. We filmed it in a garage, set decorated it with the wonderful production designer. But yeah, this was all filmed 3 weeks after. And one of the reasons that we did this was I really wanted to be able to, let me move this down. I wanted to be able to change my hair. So I knew we were making this, so I grew my hair out really long so I could shave half of it because I felt like it fit the character. And then for the flashbacks, I wanted to completely buzz my head to make it, I don't know if this came across, but to make it seem like time had passed. You know, that was kind of the idea is that, oh, he has short hair now, so now that he has long hair in the future, it must have been quite a bit of time. Right. Now, Eric can tell you how fun this shot was to do.
Oh, yeah. This was a bit tricky. We had a green screen set up behind this window, and it wasn't a great green screen. So I ended up... You all right?
I'm just going to choke to death. Keep going. Please don't mind me.
So this shot was actually ended up being rotoscoped every frame, which rotoscoping is basically just cutting out a section of a video. So Jake's shoulder going in front of the window is all rotoscoped out every frame. It took quite a while, but I think it turned out really well. I mean, what do you think?
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a still image behind us.
Yeah.
That Eric comped in post. Yeah. And then this is all a visual effect. So going out the window, that was a real move, but not this part here.
Right.
That's digital.
We transitioned into a digital zoom in to match the zoom through the window.
Yeah, so this whole shot right now is fake. Yeah. That's not real at all. And actually, Fatty T had a good question.
What's that?
That was, why did I choose the YouTubers that was in this, which is Marquez, MKBHD, Rosanna Pansino, and Casey Neistat. The reason was, one, they're my friends, and I knew that they would do it. And the other is that I thought it would be interesting because this was kind of different than the normal stuff they did. Like for Marquez, I don't think he's really ever been in anything like this. I've never seen him act, and I thought it'd be really fun. And for the scene that we were doing, it fit because we're talking about tech, we're talking about resolution. For Ro, I've just known her for years, and I thought, so here's a spoiler. If you haven't seen it, spoilers. Oh, no. Spoilers, I'm warning you right now, it's a spoiler. Ro is, here, let's go back to the full cam. Ro's like the sweetest, smallest person in the world. She's like a sweetheart, and she's like 4'11". And I thought it would be really fun to make her this bad, like, boss that's like chasing me through the desert. I thought that would be a really fun turn and that people wouldn't really expect it to be her.
Right.
And then also for the flashbacks when we're in a relationship, like that fits for her. But her being like this horde leader, this Immortan Ro, chasing me through the desert would be a surprise. And with Casey, I just thought it was funny because we could like make fun of YouTube and then I could kill him, which was exciting. So I love that. All right, let's get back into the BTS. The nuke. Oh, Alec, the nuke was on green screen. The nuke is not on green screen. The nuke is a digital element.
Yeah.
So this is all. That's a 3D element. Mm-hmm. And then we did this scene pulling out of my eye, and this scene was filmed about 3 weeks later as well in a parking lot. So we're not actually in the car. I'm not in a car at all here.
So if you notice, look at his eye here. It's completely different now.
Yeah, you can actually see Eric in the reflection there of my eye.
Kind of like a snap out of reality back into the modern day.
So yeah, but this was not filmed. This was filmed outside in a parking lot, but it was so close that you can't tell it's not in a car.
Right.
And then we did that match move where like head goes across. There we go. Back to me not driving a car at all.
You sure you're not driving? It looks like you're driving.
It does look like I'm driving, but I'm not. So then let's go to some other cool stuff that I love. Oh, this guy's great.
Yeah,
he
was
was
my favorite.
So good. Look at this. He does such a good job there. Ro's not driving there. That was all fake. Then we had this scene. So actually, one thing that I think is kind of interesting, in the original script, the original way that I wrote it, there was it was a lot different. Basically, I cut out, 4 or 5 minutes and put it into the last act of the video. So the first act, up until the car crash, was about 8 to 10 minutes long. Now it's about 5 minutes long. Because when we edited it together the way that I had written it, and it just felt a little slow. It took a while to get into the actual action. So I don't remember if you remember this, but I felt kind of cool or crazy. Probably a little bit of both. But I had the whole entire script laid out on my desk, and I was just drawing arrows to how we could move certain parts of the script to the last act and make it still fit. Yeah. And you can't even tell.
Right.
Like, it fits so well, you can't even tell a difference. That's where we go. Anika, I really thought you were driving. Thank you. That's the whole point, is that you can't. Oh, errors. Haven't seen Mad Max? That's fine. The hope was that even if you hadn't watched Mad Max, you'd still understand what was getting. Yeah. And there's like some references specific to Mad Max, but I never wanted anyone to feel left out. Right. It's supposed to be that anyone can watch it, regardless of if you've seen the source material or not. Okay. The edit. Ooh, Miguel. Oh, Miguel! What's up, Miguel? Miguel is a lovely human being. We worked together at Beam, and he still works for Casey. Miguel, what's up, dude? The edit took a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was like 2 months or so. And we had multiple different editors coming in because like it went for so long. But that's because I've never done anything like this before. And also this is the first time I've never edited my own video, which was really weird for me. So I basically just sat in the edit suite every single day for like 2 months and was annoying to the editors. So they'd be like, oh, back like 3 frames. Oh, let's switch this shot with that shot. Oh, could you actually find the other take of this? I was probably really annoying, but I want what I want, so I did it. So there we go.
Editing is awesome.
Editing,
Agreed.
Yeah, they did a really great job with it. And again, since we switched it, like the first 2 weeks we edited it, or the first 3 weeks, we edited it the way it was written. And then I went in and readjusted the entire narrative. So let's keep going. So this one's actually I think this one's pretty interesting. These were filmed on 2 separate days, this whole scene. So we'll kind of go through it. So this was filmed, that's filmed separately from this, 2 separate days. Every shot of me was never filmed this. I'm not even actually in the car when we cut to the war boy guy. Not in the car, he's talking to just the camera. I'm talking to nobody. There's nobody over there. Rolling up the window, which is why we don't see the car until here. Totally separate shots, Sparks edited in VFX by Eric. None of that, we weren't actually ever together.
Right.
We were never in the same place. That was completely...
Because to get all the shooting done, we had to split into 2 groups and shoot different scenes at different times just to get all the filming done.
And also, I apologize, the sun's going to be...
I was about to say,
it's going to blow out. We're just going to be ghosts. Spooky ghosts. Let's see. Thank you for liking the video, Ian. Apocalypse, has Warner Brothers noticed the video? I know, and I hope they don't, because I don't want to be sued. But we should be fine.
Yeah.
We should be fine. Actually, one thing that I thought was funny is when we sent this video off to the legal team to make sure that we weren't doing any copyright infringement or anything like that, they sent back a whole time-coded like page with all this time code from the video being like, do you have the rights for this shot? Do you have the rights for this shot? Because they actually thought that we had used footage from the movie. And it was like, no, we created this ourselves. This is all ours. We didn't do anything. I do only have 2 fingers. It was an accident. I don't want to talk about it. So let's keep going. Oh, this is a wonderful graphic that I love that Eric made. So this is entirely made by Eric.
So those are red and white blood cells. We did this all in Cinema 4D with a plugin renderer called Redshift, which is great because Redshift allows you to do subsurface scattering really quickly and efficiently, and the render time wasn't actually that bad. So like the red blood cells, the light is actually passing through and bouncing back out. It gives like a really realistic texture, especially for skin and stuff like that.
And then I ruined Eric's life lots of times. But when I was let's have a needle come through.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to see the blood cells come in from the blood transfusion. So he did that. All a visual effect by Eric Langley. Then this is also Eric. Let's scoot forward to one of my favorite parts, which would be the car flip. Visual effect. Boom. So this guy, we'll kind of go through it a little bit. So what we actually had here, and Eric erased it, there was a ramp coming up from underneath the car, which you can kind of see the angle. Just imagine a kind of like a 45-degree angle right below the car. So it's going up this ramp. It hits the ramp, and then we have an explosion there of dirt, and the car starts flipping. A funny thing about this car, this isn't the actual car that we used. This was an old police car that we spray painted silver, attached PVC pipe to the back to look like the exhaust, and hoped for the best. But there's an actual human being in that car.
Right.
This was a practical effect. So we had that. Boom. This is another angle of it. And there you can kind of see it's not the same car.
Right.
And then we have this beautiful slow motion. So this is filmed with the IX camera, which is this beautiful slow motion camera, and they were nice enough to let us use it, and they actually sent out an engineer to operate it for us because we had no idea how to use it. This was filmed with the slow motion camera at
like 20,000?
Yeah, about 20,000 frames per second.
Yeah.
And this, like, the guy was strapped to the back of a car driving alongside of it. So that's this beautiful slow-mo shot. And then we had GoPros attached to the car everywhere for the actual flip. Boom. That was something that I really, really wanted. I remember we went back and forth, like, a car flip's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care. I will put in my own money to do it because we are flipping a car.
Yeah, it's funny when you think about it. It's like you see so many car flips and you don't think it's like a big deal, but actually flipping a car is like a huge deal. It costs a lot of money, and there's a lot of time and effort involved into flipping a car.
Yeah, well, you had to have, so for that, we had to have fire and an ambulance on set just for that stunt.
And the stunt driver.
And the stunt driver.
And multiple stunt team people.
Yep, stunt team people.
Setting it up. It
was a really big process, but I'm really happy we did it, because to me it's like, you're 5 minutes in, okay, it's a big video. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, they just flipped a car?
Yeah.
That was like that moment to me where it's like, this is really important to let people know that this is something different. It's bigger than what they've hopefully experienced before. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Karam, am I going to make more of these? I hope so. So, again, I'm repeating myself and I apologize, but I'll get to make more, and this sounds so stupid. Oh, Isaac Thiel! Sorry, real quick, I'll get back. Thank you so much, Isaac. That was so nice of you. I love you, Isaac. Isaac makes incredible content, and he also makes wonderful unboxing videos of the Curiosity Box. He's a really nice person. Thank you, Isaac. That was very nice of you. So, back to the other one. What was I talking about?
Are we going to make more of these?
Are we going to make more? If it does well. That's YouTube's metric. It needs to get enough views. What those views are, I don't know, for them to do more of it. The nice thing, though, is if I do get to do more, it will all be free. The entire thing will be free to watch, which I am so excited about. I want everyone to be able to watch it. So hopefully it does well. Hopefully we get to make like 8 or 10 more every year, because it'll be free to watch, so I can really focus all of my time just on these videos. Like, that's what we can make, is just these really, hopefully beautiful 30-minute videos.
And they'll all be very different.
Yeah, it's going to be different movies. I'll just tease some of the ones we pitched for the first season. Hopefully we get to do it. Some of the ones we pitched are Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Blade Runner, Aliens, Avengers, Men in Black, John Wick, Fast and the Furious, Star Wars, Halloween. I think those are all the ones we pitched for the first season. And each one would be done in the style of that movie and in the world of that movie. So the Halloween one I'm super stoked on. I want to shoot like 16 millimeter, like actually shoot that one on film.
Yeah.
And so it has that look to it and make it feel like a late 70s, early 80s slasher movie.
16, you don't want to go 70? I think it's in the budget,
I don't think they filmed things in 70 thing. So that's kind of the hope. All right. Let's keep going. So this one I love personally.
Oh my God.
This shot. So
it's a very stressful shot.
Yeah, I was actually buried twice. This was the second take.
Yeah.
And it was very, like, this was maybe 6:30 p.m. at night.
It was the last shot.
It was the last shot. The sun was going down, and I remember I ran over from another, because we had basically like 2 crews filming at once. I ran over from where we were filming and just ran in. I was like, Eric, set up the camera right here. Yeah. And then I just was like, they were setting up the dirt, and I just laid down. I was like, pour it on me right now.
Yeah.
And they didn't have time to give me a breathing tube or anything. So I remember one thing that was funny is I told Eric, I should have told other people, but I was like, Eric, when you call action, I'm not going to breathe for 10 seconds. So he did it, and everyone thought I was dead.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
Everyone was just like looking at each other, just waiting around. I was like, is he okay? Because you were under there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, it takes a long time to pile up enough dirt on someone's head to make them completely covered.
Oh, sorry, split screen. My bad. There we go. This scene.
Oh,
I apologize.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys. So this scene, let me scoot back a little bit. I apologize for that. So this, I was buried under the dirt for a while, and everyone thought I was dead. So I had people checking on me, and I was like, I'm fine. Because also I couldn't really breathe too much. I actually had to take antibiotics. The medic came over and gave me antibiotics for like a week.
For breathing in
because I breathed in so much dust and dirt that I had to take antibiotics. All right. Ooh, a system on the Maze Runner. And also, thank you for calling it System, Isaac.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I really like this title. Actually, here's a fun fact. The original title of the show was called Overcrank, which is something that I was really passionate about.
Do you still hear it in the behind-the-scenes videos?
We deleted every instance of Overcrank. Aw, thank you, Serial Ocelot. Your cats are the biggest supporters I've ever had. I love them, and I love you. So we'll get to the day for night scene later, if Eric wants to. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know what I was talking about. We'll keep going. So then we get to this shot. So this shot coming up right here.
I guess technically that was the last shot.
That was the last shot. Yeah, we filmed. I remember after we filmed me buried, I was like, okay, good, we got to do one more thing.
Yeah.
And I threw dirt on myself so it looked like I just came out of the ground.
So this shot and this shot are two completely different days. I mean,
yeah, that was like
you look at the sky and kind of tell, but they match pretty well, I think.
That was filmed on Thursday. This was filmed Saturday morning because we could only fly the drone on Saturday. That's the only time we got the.
Because there's an Air Force base right
next to this. There was an Air Force base right next to it. So this was a drone shot. And we filmed this. It was literally all we had was the drone and us. Yeah. Then we have this whole scene, which I love.
Such a good shot.
So Ro's actually driving there, obviously. This is all drone work, but then we get to the internal stuff. So that car's not moving at all. People are just shaking it. It's not actually going anywhere. So we do this bit, and let's get to this graphic that Eric made that I just love. And he was so thrilled when I told him, okay, now we need to have a shot where we go through an engine.
Yeah, not just an engine, a blower into the engine.
Yep.
Yeah. So when we get there, I'll show you. My approach was I actually wanted this to be as close to how it would actually look as possible. So I watched a bunch of videos about how blowers are made and what they look like, which is actually really difficult to find out what they look like on the inside. So I kind of figured it out, I think. So what you actually see is pretty close to how a blower works. I'm sure there's a lot more involved that I didn't show, but it's close enough.
And thank you, Stefan. I'm not sure. It's one of those, I assume. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I just love the fact that people like the videos that we make. This is my dream. So Alejandra, who did the costume makeup stuff, that was actually a lovely woman named, well, there was two. There's hair and makeup was, gosh, I'm blanking on their names right now.
I wasn't part of that.
But these two wonderful women who came up with like how I should look. They added the scar on the side of my face. They bloodied my knuckles. They did such a great job with it. It is not real gasoline. This is not gasoline.
Olive oil and water?
I think this is just apple juice.
Oh, it's apple juice?
Yeah, it's just apple juice. No. But luckily, this actually isn't a real blower, so it doesn't damage the engine at all. This is all aesthetic. It doesn't do anything. Oh, V-neck. Thank you. Hello, Greece. I've never been to Greece. I would love to go. All right. So let's keep going to Eric's wonderful graphic here.
So that's a match move between actual footage. Hold on. So that's a real shot of her blowing, I guess, apple juice into the blower. And then it's a match move into the visual effect. And we're traveling down the intake tube into, I don't know, fans, I guess. And they get separated. I'm pretty sure this is where it gets into where I just took some artistic license. And I think that's how it looks. So yeah, this is all done in Cinema 4D and Redshift as well. And this is an actual V8 engine, pretty much how it works on the inside as well. There's a lot more metal involved, but once again, artistic license, so you can actually see the pistons moving up and down. This is pretty much what it would look like, although a lot faster.
Then actually, I'm getting a lot of people asking how much this video costs to make. I won't give specific numbers because I don't know if YouTube will be mad at me. But I will say this, it probably cost a lot less than what you think it cost. Usually when people guesstimate, they're like, oh, it must have cost like $1 million.
Right.
It did not. Yeah. Nowhere near $1 million. A lot less than $1 million.
We worked pretty efficiently and
yeah, well, that's how you make content on YouTube. Like usually when we make videos, it's just us.
Yeah.
And the whole goal is always to make it look as expensive and cinematic as possible for the least amount of money because we don't have a lot of money to make these things.
Right.
So for this one, Eric did all the graphics. We didn't have a team to do it. I wrote it and directed it and hosted it and produced it because one, I wanted to do it myself, but also it saved us money to not hire a director, not hire a writer.
But there was a large team involved in making.
Yeah, I think in total for the production, when we were on the location, we had 65 people or so, which is the largest I've ever had before. All right, so this is Eric's amazing graphic, and then the engine explodes, and we get at it. Breaks down. Sorry, it doesn't explode, because then she wouldn't be moving at all.
Right.
Breaks down. We get out of there to this. And there's actually one line here that I love. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but someone says mediocre.
Oh, really?
Or they're like, mediocre! Because I think that was just I think that was either me or Jay, our sound designer, like recorded us just saying mediocre to like add it in.
That's funny.
Oh, that was funny. So this is a cool special effect that Eric did. Well, it's pretty easy, but
It's a comp.
that's a comp. So we filmed me alone jumping onto the hood, and then we filmed.
So this is 2 different shots.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one of that's actually Marquez driving that truck. So it's just him driving through frame, and then after he passed through, we had Jake come and just stand kind of in the spot where we thought it should happen, and him just jumping up. So that's 2 separate shots.
Jamie, this was filmed in the Mojave Desert.
Mojave, yeah.
Oh, Justin, thank you so much. Oh, so Justin has actually a very important question. Never been to Taco Bell. What should I order?
Oh.
Well,
Oh my God.
I'll let you can go to.
Do you have
but
the next 30 minutes available?
my favorite things. I love a Mexican pizza, but I replaced the ground beef with beans. So Mexican pizza, no meat, add beans. And then my other favorite thing is the Crunchwrap Supreme. Those are 2 classics. You can't really go wrong with them.
Crunchwrap Supreme is, I think, the perfect Taco Bell item.
I love them. All right, so this was not real. Then we get to this shot. So here, car's not actually moving. This is me just laying on the ground, pulling my body up with what little body strength I have. So this is all, nothing's moving here. Car's just being shaken. And this is actually another scene that I think is interesting. So we just cut from, let me move this. We just cut from this shot to this shot. Originally, in the original script, the way we filmed it,
Oh, that's right.
it goes from me here to then noticing Marquez in the car.
Yeah, it's much earlier.
But we flipped it to get into the experiment sooner. So originally, I do this, I'm like, oh, I'm alive, so I guess that's good. Then I look behind me like, oh, hey, I'm KBHD.
Yep.
We talk a little bit, then we get into debris, and then I go, okay, I'm going to get in the car. But that was a little different in the actual edit. Desiree, am I vegetarian? You know, I was raised vegetarian. The first 18 years of my life, I was.
When I met you, you were vegetarian.
Yeah. So I was vegetarian for most of my life. But now I do eat seafood and stuff because I love sushi. So there we go. Oh, John, thank you so much. That's so nice. Well, I honestly, John, hope I get to make more of these.
Yeah.
This was such a dream for us, and hopefully YouTube sees the value. I don't know. I'm gonna vent for a little bit. I was actually talking to Neistat yesterday, and
Who?
Casey Neistat.
Oh.
So one thing that is important to me is I want. Okay, let me go on a little bit of a tangent. I apologize. Views to me are great, but it's not as important as what the viewer gets from it. I would rather get 500,000 views from people that really care than I would anything else. Like, that to me is the most important thing. I'd rather get people who it impacts. The analogy that Casey and I used yesterday was something like Avengers versus Moonlight. I mean, I love Avengers, but Moonlight, that movie won an Academy Award. Did it make as much money as Avengers? Right. No, but it won Best Picture. And I want to kind of go for that. And if I can mend the two together, I would love to. But I really wish this video was judged by the quality of it and the impact that it could have. If it's good, I don't know, but not so much views. Anyway, that was a little Jake thing. Ian, thank you. Greetings from Norway. I have also never been to Norway. I've always wanted to go. I've been close, but never actually stepped foot in there. But it looks like a beautiful place. And guess what? You are a beautiful person. I'm tearing up. I'm tearing up right now.
Are you warm?
I am very warm. It's hot. Should I turn on air conditioning? Let's see. We're going to... Oh, yeah, we can scoot it.
Sorry for the noise, everyone.
Also, there's 2 dogs in here with us. And they are freaking out.
Yeah, that's better.
We can also turn on the air conditioning. Thanks, David Paul. So let's get to this shot. This sequence is really interesting to me. Eric's grabbing his dogs. So this one was shot with the Phantom camera. And actually, one thing I love about this shot is that, again, I like to ruin Eric's life. So
yeah, no one actually picked up on this.
So this is a nice little Easter egg. This tire used to say a brand name on it, but we couldn't show that because legal reasons.
Right.
So instead, I was like, Eric, instead of just erasing it and having it say nothing, instead, digitally add text to it that says Valhalla. Mm-hmm. So that's what he did. I don't know how to pronounce your username, but thank you so much. I love my angel. I do. I love my angel super much. So with this shot, let me go to the split screen. Sorry. Here we go. With this shot, switch the scene, Jake. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. Okay. So the tire used to say a brand name. Now it doesn't. I made Eric change it. but he did a wonderful job. Now it says Valhalla, and if you play the shot in even slower motion, you can see it. He added a skull there, so it says Valhalla. And if we go through it a little bit more, it also says "Witness me" on the tire. No one's going to notice it, but in my mind, if you have this canvas, you should utilize every single part of it. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. Hey, Kent. Good to see you, buddy. Okay. So this was all filmed on the Phantom camera, and this was done at what? 11,000 frames per second?
Yeah.
11,000 frames. The Phantom is a beautiful camera. Mm-hmm. It captures such wonderful things. So this was shot on the Phantom. And I love this thing. I think it just looks so beautiful. All this debris flying through the air that you never really see. Because this was maybe, what, a second?
Yeah.
In real time?
Oh, yeah.
So I think it looks amazing. And then this was also Phantom. Here's the ballistics dummy.
This might have been IX, actually.
You think this is IX? No, I think the close-up was IX. Is it not?
No.
Oh, this is IX then.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. This is the IX slow-motion camera, which is also really great. And this, we basically just built a tube that shot out these at the speed that we wanted. It took a really long time to calculate how fast they were going.
Yeah.
We had to basically have a piece of wood laid down with inch markers on it and feet. And then we had to watch the footage back, figure out how many frames per second were going through it, and then calculate how fast it was actually traveling. So that was all very fun. Oh, there's one more guy here. Get Mads! Thank you so much, and thank you for the quality over quantity content. That's something that's very important to me. So thank you.
So that's what we're looking at now is actually what a poor man's process trailer looks like, which is a bunch of dudes shaking and rocking the car. And we have the visual effects, practical effects supervisor here with the fan blowing smoke onto Jake.
So there was a good question.
That's my leg right there.
Yeah, there's Eric in power stance. His leg, he's wearing the tan pants with the camera in front of me. So actually there was a question that I thought was interesting, which is, how do you come up with the story? Like, how do you write it? So for me, it was, I really wanted to do Mad Max. I love the world of it. And I watched it a bunch, and I wanted to be faithful to the story, but also create my own thing. And the way that I come about it is I have a general idea of what I want to say and the science beats I want to hit. And then I note those out. And I adjust where they are in the script in my mind, basically, to fit the narrative. And then everything that happens is a motivation either to get to another science beat or to get to another narrative beat. And they work in tandem. And that's how I think about it. It starts as an outline that I can then adjust easily, and then I really start filling it in with words and dialogue and actions. So that's kind of the point there. Oh, Ken Heckle, where did the idea of the fourth wall cameos come from? Well, in my videos anyway, let me switch back to this camera. In my videos anyway, I always talk directly to you, the viewer, because I always want it to feel like you're there with me. We're on this journey together.
Right.
So with this, it was kind of like, I thought it'd be funny to play on it where I am aware that you're there, but other people aren't. So that was kind of the idea, and I wanted to be very self-referential, where we kind of make fun of ourselves sometimes, because we can't take ourselves too seriously. We didn't have the budget to take ourselves too seriously, and it just fit with the kind of aesthetic that I wanted and the way that I like to tell stories. But again, I saw one thing that someone hadn't watched the actual video yet. I would highly recommend, because I know it didn't go to a lot of sub feeds because YouTube. Supposedly, you really need to hit that notification bell, is what I've been told. Because I guess there's this whole thing where there's basically a timeline of YouTube. If you subscribe to a channel before notifications existed, you weren't auto-opted into notifications, so you missed out. And therefore, your subscription isn't worth as much as someone who subscribed and then notified, which to me is crazy and doesn't make sense, but I didn't design the platform, so I have no say in it. Anyway, so if you can, hit that notification bell, because it actually does help. I
think smash.
Oh, yeah. Smash that notification button, share that like button, and leave a comment on your wall somewhere. Just draw it with marker. All right, let's get back to this.
And so you see that big, bright white square behind Jake? That is pretty much most of the lighting we had for like all the shots. It's a mirror board. So what you do is you reflect the sun back onto the subject. And that's pretty much how most of this was lit, because it was very bright out there.
All right, so here's Marquez, who I love. Marquez is amazing. I've known Marquez for a very long time, but he was solid. Like, I remember we were talking about this whole thing, and he's very into ultimate frisbee, and a game came up. So I had to, let's pause it for a second on Marquez's beautiful face. Me talking to camera. There we go. So Marquez flew in the morning of the shoot from New York. Flew in, drove 2 hours to the desert, filmed for maybe like 4 hours, then drove back to the airport another 2 hours and flew back to New York. Like, he was only there for a part of a day, and he did such an amazing job, and I'm so happy that he was in it. But he crushed it. So let's keep skipping this bit. This one. So this is all, there was nothing on the screen. Eric added this in post. And just take a look. Let's see. Valhalla Hall, 1 George Miller Way. Mount Payne View instead of Mountain View. This one was actually funny because this video came out the day after the latest Google Pixel event.
Oh, yeah.
So somehow we just knew.
Yeah.
It all worked. It all worked out. So let's see. Let's go to some other stuff. Now we get to this scene. This scene is interesting to me because I get into the car, and now I'm in this car with Casey. This was filmed after VidCon, like the Saturday of VidCon. We filmed this in a parking lot. This is not the same car at all. It's our production designer's truck that he just made look like it was apocalyptic.
Yeah.
But this was filmed in a parking lot 2 or 3 weeks after, during VidCon. Nowhere near the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to use a metal broom pan, dustpan, as a reflector because we didn't have any reflectors. So yeah, this was filmed. We filmed it with this blown out, so you wouldn't be able to see the background at all. But this was filmed totally different place. And I will read your chats. Okay. Oh, how many FPS has the Phantom camera or slow motion camera? The Phantom and the IX can go up to like 1 million frames per second, but your resolution is basically like 1 pixel by 1 pixel. If you want to shoot at HD resolutions, on the Phantom it was 10,000, 11,000?
Around there.
And then for the IX it was about 20,000.
20,000, yeah.
So yeah. So this was all filmed totally separate. Then this part, when I get out of the car, right here, Fajita, do you want to say? This is Fajita, by the way. Hey, buddy. This was filmed entirely different. That was filmed actually when we filmed it 2 weeks or 3 weeks before. This was cool. This is a practical effect. That's a propane explosion that Eric also brewed up. Do you want to talk a little about this shot, Eric?
Oh, this is my favorite shot. So we filmed an explosion with the Phantom. We also filmed, it's a plate shot, and then we filmed Jake jumping back also with the Phantom. So this is actually a comp shot. So Jake obviously isn't standing in front of that explosion. So to get that effect, I had to rotoscope Jake out from the footage so it kind of matched the background a little bit more.
Get down.
And the Phantom camera doesn't have the best resolution. That's why it kind of looks a little funky. But I think the overall effect worked out pretty well. Yeah, so it's 2 separate shots that I put together.
Hey, Squid Bear. Yeah, and it looks like, I remember when Eric first put this together, I was like, it actually looks like I was there. That's believable to me. Because he also had to add lighting effects to me to make it actually seem like the light.
Something went off in front of you.
Yeah. Was going off there. What does Eric do for a living? This.
I work at Vsauce.
He works at Vsauce doing visual effects.
I work for all 3 channels.
All right, so we scoot forward.
Did you just kill Casey Neistat?
I did kill Casey Neistat. That audio was recorded afterwards. All of Rose's audio was recorded in a parking lot 3 weeks after we filmed it.
Yeah.
Nothing was recorded there. Then we go to the movie explosion part. This part's really cool. So this whole scene is actually a one take, but we injected little inserts in it. Mm-hmm. So this is just a one take walk and talk. Did this whole thing.
I still can't believe the audio turned out as well as it did. If you look at Jake's hair in that walk and talk, that's like 40-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, and the audio is like perfect.
That's not hair gel, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the wind. And then we get to the explosions. So this was all filmed with the Phantom and the IX. And this was the FLIR camera. So FLIR is amazing. I've used their cameras before. They have really high-end scientific thermal imaging cameras. So you can see the spectrum that isn't visible to our eyes. So this is just infrared. And it looks incredible because you can actually see the temperature. You can see the heat in that stuff. And in the behind the scenes, there's actually a lot more footage from their cameras that we ended up not using. Mm-hmm. But their stuff is insane. They have one camera that can actually track the heat left through the air by projectiles. And it's in the second behind the scenes video, I think. So I'd highly recommend checking that out.
This was so cool, the shockwave.
Yeah, so the shockwave we were nervous about. This is actually a very interesting thing to talk about. We were nervous because it's very dry in the desert. And to capture a shockwave really nicely, one, you need a lot of light. And also you need something in the air for it to move, right? If there's nothing in the air, then you won't really see it. Luckily, there was enough just dirt and moisture in the air. You can actually see the shockwave travel, which I was very surprised that we actually captured. I was very nervous we wouldn't. But you can see it, and it looks incredible. It's one of the best shockwaves I've seen. So I was very happy we got that. Take that, moisture in the air. Disperse! You're out of here!
How was the burning skin shot made?
Oh, that
really
was
good.
Also in a parking lot.
Yeah.
We bought another piece of pig flesh and just used a blowtorch. Because the issue was, when we filmed it for real with the explosion was so large that it just completely eviscerated the pig skin. Like, you couldn't